Fred Lincoln Wray, Jr., known to generations as Link Wray, was born on May 2, 1929, in the deeply segregated town of Dunn, North Carolina. His family, of Shawnee Native American ancestry, lived on the margins, their lives marked by poverty, racial prejudice, and hard work. His father, Fred Sr., was a preacher and laborer. His mother, Lillian, was a stoic figure, a woman who held the family together while battling injustice and want. From an early age, Link saw and felt the raw underside of American life. Growing up during the Great Depression meant going without shoes, enduring hunger, and watching people struggle just to survive. Yet within that hardship lay a seed of rebellion. Link absorbed the sounds of gospel, country blues, and hillbilly stomp that emanated from street corners, juke joints, and Sunday sermons. His surroundings may have been rough, but they were rich with rhythm. The Wrays moved to Portsmouth, Virginia during World War II, chasing jobs and opportunity. It was there, amid the naval shipyards and working-class neighborhoods, that Link's early encounters with music became more structured. But he remained, at heart, untamed, learning by ear, experimenting constantly, and turning every musical rule into a question mark. Link didn't set out to be a pioneer. He simply wanted to play. At 16, he picked up his first guitar, a Sears Roebuck acoustic. What followed was a love affair that never ended. Unlike many of his contemporaries who pursued technique with clinical precision, Link embraced instinct. He played with raw emotion, letting his fingers speak his anger, joy, and frustration. Tuberculosis cost him a lung in the early 1950s. Doctors told him he'd never sing again, but Link was not interested in surrender. If his voice had been taken, his guitar would scream louder. With his brothers Doug and Vernon, he formed a group known first as Lucky Ray and the Lazy Pine Wranglers. They played everything from country to swing in smoky bars and honky-tonks, adjusting to whatever the audience demanded. During this time, he honed a style that fused rhythm and blues grit with cowboy swagger. In 1958, the brothers took the stage at a dance in Fredericksburg, Virginia. The audience clamored for a stroll, a slow dance groove. Link responded with a heavy, menacing instrumental built around power chords and gritty distortion. That night, Rumble was born. When Archie Blyer of Cadence Records heard it, he was appalled, yet captivated. Rumble was unlike anything on the airwaves. It was dark, moody, and borderline threatening. With its jagged tone and brooding attitude, it sounded like a fight breaking out behind a pool hall. The song's title came from a DJ who said it sounded like a street brawl. Radio stations in several cities banned it, fearing it would incite violence. This instrumental, without a single lyric, was deemed dangerous. That, to Link, was the highest compliment. Rumble climbed the charts to number 16, and its snarling guitar tone echoed far beyond 1958. It became a rite of passage for countless young musicians in garages, basements, and bedrooms. Link refused to conform. While others polished their image for television, he kept wearing leather, shades, and raw denim. He didn't flash toothy smiles or comb his hair for the cameras. He wasn't made for teen idol posters. He was built for the alleyways between American dreams. He invented his signature distortion by poking holes in his amplifier's speaker with a pencil. He didn't chase fidelity, he chased emotion. Every thud of the drum and growl of the guitar felt like a punch through radio static. Between 1959 and 1965, Link recorded a string of tough, muscular instrumentals: Rawhide, Jack the Ripper, Ace of Spades, and Run Chicken Run. These weren't songs, they were declarations. And though he never repeated the chart success of Rumble, he carved out an underground following that grew steadily, especially among outsiders, rebels, and future rock renegades. In the late 1960s, Link and his brothers retreated from the mainstream to a chicken coop, converted into a recording studio in Accokeek, Maryland. This humble shack birthed music that was unfiltered, unvarnished, and burning with authenticity. There, They created the 1971 self-titled album Link Wray. It was a departure from his instrumentals. This time, Link sang. Despite his lung condition, his vocals carried weight, like a man growling through pain to get his truth out. Tracks like La Da Da and Fire and Brimstone combined swamp blues, gospel, and rockabilly. The album didn't receive major airplay, but critics slowly took notice. It was earthy and confrontational, exactly what Link intended. His music from this period sounded like it was recorded with sweat, dirt, and blood soaked into the magnetic tape. Each track pulsed with life, as if the band was performing for ghosts of the past in a haunted barn. Behind the scenes, Link's personal life was full of complexity. He married multiple times and had several children. His devotion to family was genuine, though his road life created distance. He often vanished for tours, returned unexpectedly, and then disappeared again into recording binges or road dates. Eventually, he relocated to Denmark with his wife Olive and their son, Oliver Christian Wray. There, he found peace in the countryside and continued performing to enthusiastic crowds throughout Europe. While the United States had largely relegated him to cult status, overseas fans celebrated his music with a kind of evangelical fervency. In Scandinavia and the UK, his concerts felt like underground rituals, with audiences roaring as he played Rumble like a war cry. In the 1990s, after years of obscurity, Link experienced a surprising revival. Young musicians who had grown up idolizing him now welcomed him into a new scene. Punk legends, garage rockers, and alternative acts cited him as a source of raw inspiration. He released Shadowman in 1997 and Barbed Wire in 2000, both of which brought him back into studio sessions with younger producers and eager collaborators. His sound remained untamed. His fingers, though older, still attacked the fretboard with the same fury. His resurgence culminated in packed shows across Europe and occasional returns to the U.S., where a new generation of fans greeted him not with nostalgia, but with awe. Link Wray's body had endured tuberculosis, decades of hard travel, and years of stage wear. In November 2005, he died of heart failure at his home in Copenhagen. He was 76. His passing didn't flood front pages, but for those who knew, it marked the end of a musical life lived entirely on its own terms. No publicist polished his legacy. No PR firm sculpted his myth. Link had written it all himself, with bloodied fingertips, busted amps, and feedback screaming through the silence of ordinary expectations. Even after his death, his sound continues to rattle the bones of rock and roll. Jimmy Page, Pete Townshend, Neil Young, Bob Dylan, all acknowledged his power. Quentin Tarantino used Rumble in Pulp Fiction, introducing it to a whole new audience. The raw swagger of his guitar lives in punk anthems, surf rock explosions, and desert-fried blues. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame long overlooked him, despite growing calls for his inclusion. In 2023, nearly 2 decades after his passing, he was finally inducted. Too late for him to hear the applause, but not too late for history to correct itself. Link Wray was not crafted by the system. He emerged from hardship, shaped his voice through adversity, and refused to dilute his work for broader acceptance. He didn't require validation. Every riff he ever played told its own story, one filled with grit, pain, swagger, and joy. His guitar didn't whisper, it roared. It growled through lies, shouted against conformity, and spoke for those who had been silenced. And in that sound, distorted, jagged, and full of soul, Link Wray left behind something no chart could measure. He played like a man who knew time was short, and every note might be his last.